Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. The federal government says Nigeria is not on the brink of collapse, insisting the country remains stable and firmly on the path of recovery and growth. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, made this known while declaring open the 81st General Assembly and 23rd Annual General Meeting of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria held in Abuja. Sadiya Yakubu reports.
The federal government is pushing back against growing concerns about the state of the nation, maintaining that ongoing reforms and security efforts are yielding results. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says coordinated military operations and enhanced intelligence gathering are improving security across the country. He also charged media practitioners to uphold professionalism and accuracy in their reports, particularly as the nation moves closer to another election cycle. The minister stressed that broadcasting remains a vital tool for national unity, urging practitioners to use the airwaves responsibly.
In this regard, the role of BORN remains indispensable. As a leading voice in the industry, BORN is uniquely positioned to guide the sector through these transitions, to promote best practices and to ensure that Nigerian broadcasting continues to thrive in a rapidly changing world. I am confident that this unique assembly of our nation's media assets will provide a valuable platform for meaningful discussions, the exchange of ideas, and the development of practical solutions that will strengthen the industry and enhance its contribution to national development.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority and outgoing Chairman of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, Salisu Dembos, says the global media landscape is undergoing its most profound transformation. He stressed that broadcasting is not just an industry, but a custodian of public trust, adding that in any democracy, the media must uphold balanced responsibility and credibility.
The broadcasting organizations of Nigeria must now position itself not only as an association, but as a strategic voice in national policy making, a driver of innovation and capacity development, a guardian of professional standards, and a bridge between tradition and the future of global media. We must champion Nigerian content not only for domestic consumption, but as exportable creative capital capable of competing globally.
Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Josh Amupitan, while delivering a lecture titled The Management of the Airwaves, an assessment of the 2026 Nigeria Electoral Act on broadcast media coverage of elections, cautioned broadcasters against compromising standards for financial gains ahead of the 2027 general elections. He warned that political advertising pressures will rise, but insisted that media organizations must remain fair and balanced in their coverage. The INEC chairman described the broadcast media as central to the success of democracy, noting that credible elections depend largely on the integrity of information disseminated to the public.
The information space plays a dominant role in our electoral journey, to the point that it is often said that elections are won or lost in the information space. So that underscores the essence of this topic.
Stakeholders say the role of the media remains pivotal in safeguarding national unity, deepening public trust, and strengthening democratic values. Sadiya Yakubu for Global TV News.
The African Democratic Congress, ADC, has held an emergency meeting in Abuja with the presence of Governor Seyi Makinde sparking insinuations of defection from the PDP. Makinde, however, stated that he was on a solidarity visit.
We came here to visit the leadership of ADC. We're on a solidarity visit. We've seen what has been happening within the political space, the court, and the protest today. So we came to show solidarity and to commit to a clean, democratic space in our country.
The opposition ADC says it is against the alleged plot by the ruling APC to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. Overnight, top political heavyweights stormed the streets of Abuja protesting Independent National Electoral Commission's refusal to recognize the African Democratic Congress leadership led by former Senate President David Mark. Sarau Nasiru, who monitored the protest, reports that the protest signals rising political tension ahead of the 2027 general elections. The report.
It was a show of political pause in the nation's capital as heavyweights across party lines combined under the platform of the African Democratic Congress. From Maitama roundabout through major streets of Abuja, the protesters marched toward the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, demanding recognition of the party's leadership. Among those leading the charge were former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party's Peter Obi, former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso, alongside Rotimi Amechi, Rauf Aregbesola, and Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, among others. Addressing journalists after the match, Senator David Mark maintained that the protest was aimed at correcting what he described as a misinterpretation of the court's position by the electoral body.
We hope to achieve a lot. We just told INEC in plain language that we don't agree with the interpretation of the status quo ante bellum.
Some allies of the Konkosia movement also accused the electoral umpire of bias, alleging unequal treatment in handling party affairs.
All people of Nigeria said that we should let Tinubu know that we are tired of APC. We are not going to vote for him because we suffered in Nigeria in 3 years, like 30 years.
As you can see, the crowd we are gathering today to protest against the policy that INEC has proposed, that ADC has not been recognized, and we cannot allow democracy to be killed. Especially the INEC chairman. The INEC chairman should go. He should understand that we have to respect the will of the Nigerians.
The African Democratic Congress says recent actions and communications from INEC have raised concerns about the Commission's neutrality, warning that such developments could undermine confidence in the electoral process. Zahra Unasr, reporting for Global TV News.
In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission has received a petition from the African Democratic Congress submitted by its National Secretary Rauf Aregbesola and acknowledged by National Commissioner Abdullahi Zuru, although details of the petition remains undisclosed. Now, the ADC has repeatedly called for the removal of INEC Chairman Josh Amopitan, accusing him of misinterpreting a Court of Appeal order relating to the party's recognition, a dispute that has heightened tensions between the electoral body and opposition figures. This follows a peaceful protest led by prominent political figures, including Atiku Abubakar, Rabiu Kwankwaso, and Peter Obi, who marched from Maitama Junction to INEC headquarters in Abuja, demanding accountability and electoral transparency. In a move seen as a strategic effort to secure his support ahead of the 2027 general elections, the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Professor Nentawe Yelwata, has visited former Kano State Governor Ibrahim Shekarau. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that the development is already generating political reactions within Kano and beyond. His report.
The visit by the leadership of the All Progressive Congress APC to former Kano State Governor Ibrahim Shekarau appeared to be a high-level political consultation aimed at strengthening the party's influence in Kano State. According to the APC national chairman, Kano remains one of the most politically significant states in northern Nigeria, and the APC is determined to consolidate its position ahead of the 2027 general elections. The chairman further noted that his visit to Kano could signal a major shift in the state political dynamics, especially considering Ibrahim Shekaru's long-standing influence and political structure.
The most expensive project in Nigerian history, they are all going to be in the north. And in Kano especially, there will be a double rail from Kaduna to Kano. There will be also an metro rail from the Kano town. All those are made to build Kano as a major hub of business in the entire northern Nigeria.
Malam Ibrahim Shekaru is a prominent figure in Kano politics and a member of the People's Democratic Party. He is yet to publicly disclose his official defection to the APC, but assured to do so in the next coming days.
And we know that Kano, Chiben Arewani, every day I learned that nothing less than 3,000 buses leave Kano to different cities in the north.
With expectations mounting, all eyes are now on Ibrahim Shekaru, as he is expected to announce his next political move in the next coming days. From Kano, Idris Jubrin, Global Television News.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has sentenced 5 terrorism convicts to various jail terms, including 20 years imprisonment. The court also remanded another suspect who pleaded not guilty to terrorism charges as the federal government began a fresh phase in the mass trial of 500 suspects. Justice Olajuwon remanded Babangida Umar in the custody of the Department of State Services after he denied a 3-count charge bordering on alleged support for Boko Haram. Umar was accused of knowingly rendering support by supplying spare parts to Boko Haram in Sambisa Forest in 2022, contrary to Section 13 of the Terrorism Prohibition and Prevention Act 2022. Nigeria's oil production rebound has received a major boost as the National Assembly passes a vote of confidence on key players, crediting coordinated security efforts and pipeline surveillance contracts for pushing output to 1.8 million barrels per day. Now, the announcement came at a one-day conference on pipeline security and crude oil theft, where Parliament also dismissed 3 petitions challenging pipeline surveillance contracts. National Assembly correspondent Anete Patrick tells us more.
The National Assembly has passed a vote of confidence on Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, and other security agencies for their role in restoring the nation's oil production. In recent weeks, calls for the decentralization of these contracts have gained attention. The conference brought together leading stakeholders to address these agitations, although the petitioners were notably absent.
The General Committee knows that the petition was not perceived as a common militants for peace and unity in the Niger Delta, or urgent demand for immediate decentralization.
During the conference, representatives from NNPCL, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Tantita Security Services, and other security agencies, including the Nigeria Police Force, highlighted the progress made. They noted that Nigeria's oil production, which had dropped to about 960,000 barrels per day in August 2024 due to the theft and sabotage, has now significantly improved.
The incentive for crude theft, illegal refinery, and associated criminality persists. Any relaxation of focus or fragmentation of our current collaboration could reopen vulnerabilities within the energy security ecosystem.
The pipeline vandalism incidents have dropped by over 40% compared to what we had in the past years. Secondly, we have discovered and destroyed 60% more illegal refining sites, which means we are detecting more and disrupting more.
In 2020, Nigeria was producing about 1.8. At 2021, it was about 1.6. Then in 2022,
it dropped to 1.1 including condensate.
At the conclusion of the conference, a joint committee moved and passed a vote of confidence on all efforts to safeguard the nation's crude oil production and curb oil theft.
Illegal connections discovered and dismantled have increased by over 300%. Volumes lost to theft have dropped from the peak of over 400,000 barrels per day to under 100,000 barrels per day.
The federal government's introduction of pipeline surveillance contracts, including the engagement of private security firms and community-based structures, has been credited for this turnaround. Today, the nation reportedly produces 1.8 million barrels of crude oil per day, a significant improvement over previous years. From the National Assembly, Aniette Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, University of Jos Branch, has commenced an indefinite strike over delays in the payment of March 2026 salaries and the exclusion of earned academic allowance. Branch Chairperson Jerbe Joseph Malwos said the action effective April 8th followed frustration over unresolved payment issued linked to the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. The union warned that continued delays could disrupt industrial harmony and directed members to fully comply with a monitoring team deployed to enforce the strike. You are watching the live broadcast of AM News. AM News continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
It's good to have you with us. Winds flowing into the country are bringing dust haze from its source region, but not at severe levels, as moderate dust haze is expected across the extreme northern states, making for a dry, dusty and sunny Thursday in the north. In contrast, parts of Adamawa, Taraba, the coastal cities of Cross River and Akwa Ibom states are likely to experience morning thunderstorms. Other parts of the north and north central will see mostly sunny skies with occasional cloud cover. As we head into the afternoon and evening hours, rainfall will become more widespread across the southern region of the country. This condition will extend to parts of the north central to affect parts of the Federal Capital Territory, Plateau, Nasarawa, Benue, Kwara, Kogi, Niger, as well as parts of Kaduna, Adamawa, and Taraba states. So keep that umbrella close as weather activities are expected more later during the day. I am Theodora Itum. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is AM News on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is set to unveil a new payment system vision next month, outlining a strategic roadmap for Nigeria's rapidly expanding digital payments ecosystem over the next 3 years. Deputy Governor Economic Policy Directorate Mohammed Sani Abdullahi disclosed this at the inaugural meeting of the Payment Service Providers Committee. Now, according to him, the proposed vision, co-created with financial technology firms, mobile money operators, and other payment service providers, would drive inclusive growth, strengthen financial stability, and position Nigeria to sustain its leadership in the global payment space. Nigeria recorded 2.19 trillion naira in value-added tax collections in the fourth quarter of 2025, representing a 3.78% deadline from the previous quarter, despite stronger year-on-year growth. Data released by the National Bureau of Statistics shows a 12.84% increase compared to Q4 2024, indicating improved tax compliance and gradual expansion of the tax base. The figure reveals 1.16 trillion naira from local VAT, 503.13 billion naira from foreign VAT, and 535.73 billion naira from inputs, reflecting sustained revenue diversification. Over now to Dangote Refinery has reduced the ex-country price of petrol to 1,200 per litre, reversing an earlier increase that briefly pushed prices to about 1,275 naira. Sources say the adjustment followed a sharp drop in global crude oil prices, with Brent and WTI crude falling significantly amid easing tensions linked to U.S.-Iran development. The refinery says it remains focused on ensuring stable supply across Nigeria and Africa, reinforcing its roles in stabilizing the downstream petroleum market. The World Bank has warned that rising global oil prices could increase Nigeria's inflation rate at about 3.1 percentage points due to higher transport and energy costs. In its Nigerian development update, the bank linked the surge to the Middle East conflict, which has driven crude oil above $100 per barrel following disruption around the Strait of Hormuz. It also stated that rising food and fertilizer costs alongside domestic supply factors could further intensify inflationary pressures. On the foreign news now, Madagascar has declared a 2-week nationwide emergency energy due to severe fuel shortage linked to disruptions from the Middle East conflict. Authorities say the move is aimed at preventing public disorder and destabilizing electricity supply. As the country relies heavily on important fuel for power generation, the crisis has triggered panic buying and long fuel queues, with analysts warning that supply disruptions could persist for months despite ceasefire efforts. In a diplomatic development, Britain has taken the lead in an unprecedented international effort to break the deadlock in one of the world's most critical shipping lanes by gathering foreign ministers from 40 countries to discuss options to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a vital shipping route choked off in the wake of the US and Israel's war against Iran. From London, Edikin Michael completes this report.
Global oil prices have surged above $100 a barrel, jump of roughly 40% since the war began, particularly in Asia, to ration fuel and halt industrial production. Now, nearly 1,000 ships are reported stranded, and the blockade has sent global energy prices to historic highs. Around 20,000 sailors and thousands of vessels are said to be currently stuck as well. Now, this 14-nation coalition united in condemnation looks limited in its tool. However, the joint statement from the participating nations calls on Iran to cease its straight drone and missiles attack and to comply with the United Nations Security Council resolution. Where the world alone can unlock one of the world's most vital waterways remains deeply uncertain. Downing Street is at the center of a diplomatic storm. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced that Foreign Secretary Vete Corper will chair the Veto Summit tasked with assessing measures to reopen the strait, but crucially only after the fighting had stopped.
Now we have made progress on this front, on agriculture, electricity, emissions trading and more. Brexit did deep damage to our economy, and the opportunities to strengthen our security and cut the cost of living are simply too big to ignore. We want to be more ambitious. Closer economic cooperation, closer security cooperation, a partnership for the dangerous world that we must navigate together. A world where this government will be guided at all times by the interests of the British people.
The Hormuz Strait, through which 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas supplies pass in peacetime, has been effectively blocked since the United States and Israel launched strikes on Iran on the 28th of February. UK Foreign Minister Corper, while opening the talks, accused Iran of hijacking an international shipping route.
From all over the world, can I welcome, we have foreign ministers and representatives from over 40 countries today to discuss the Strait of Hormuz, the impact of the closure, the urgent need to restore freedom of navigation for international shipping, and the strength of our international determination to see the strait reopen once more.
From London, Edikan Michael reporting for Global TV News.
In sports news now, Nigerians under 20 women's team, the Falconets, have resumed camp in Abuja ahead of their final qualifying round of the 2026 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Poland. Head coach Moses Adaku has begun intensive training sessions, urging players to maintain discipline and focus as they prepare for a two-leg tie against Malawi. The team, which previously defeated Senegal to reach this stage, is aiming to secure qualification and build on its history as a two-time runner-up in the competition. Confederation of African Football (CAF) President Patrice Motsepe is in Senegal following the federation's controversial decision to strip the country of its AFCON title and award it to Morocco. The visit comes amid growing criticisms, with Senegal's President Bassirou Diomaye Faye set to host Motsepe for talks aimed at easing tensions and promoting unity in African football. The dispute stems from CAF's ruling overturning Senegal's final victory, citing regulatory breaches. The Remo Star Stadium, Ikene, will host the double-headed friendlies between Super Falcons of Nigeria and Cape Verde. The two matches are scheduled for Wednesday, April 15th and Saturday, April 18th. Both countries will use the friendlies to prepare for the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations. Nigeria defeated Cape Verde in their previous meeting, a WAFCON qualifier in 2023. The African champions secured a 2-1 away win in the first leg and won the reverse fixture 5-0 at home. The Super Falcons will open camp in Abuja for the friendlies this weekend. And that's it on Global TV AM News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Up next is Global Morning. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.